My name is Moses Powell. I've been studying jiu-jitsu for the last 20 years. I'm the master for Renda Visitashino. And at this particular time, I'm a senior master in the art of jiu-jitsu Te and jiu-jitsu Ryu.
.radio.net presents to you some of the most deadly jiu-jitsu masters in the world. Trained in the vicious urban inner-city street combat system of Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, this art was created by the legendary Dr. Moses Powell, the father of American contemporary jiu-jitsu and the greatest martial artist of the 20th century. This network brings together 4 radio shows 4 nights a week, starting with Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Each one teach one, with the Pia Master himself, Grandmaster Urban Muhammad, and his protege, Professor Terrence Hale. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Modern Combat Masters, hosted by the inheritor of GM Billy Davis Jiu-Jitsu, guru of his own Filipino system, and Sanukas Master, Grandmaster Daryl Sargent, and his co-host, Sifu Reseda de Jesus. Thursday nights at 9 p.m. is Professor Tom Curry's radio talk show, a Kenpo Master and Professor of Sanukas Ryu, 20 years law enforcement, senior tactical training instructor for intelligence retired, and author of the official Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu testing and training curriculum. And Friday nights at 8 p.m. is Making the Connection, hosted by the president of DocRadio.net, Grandmaster in the art of Sanukas Ryu and Soke of Kuroshi Kaikan martial arts system, and president of the Family of Sanukas organization, Soki Haisan Khalik, and his co-host, Shihan Farouk Gibbs. All of these shows can be linked to online by typing in docradio.net or listening live at the scheduled time by dialing 646-716-6825. DocRadio.net is also proud to present DocMagazine.net, the world's largest martial art magazine dedicated to Dr. Moses Powell, Sanukas Ryu Eye-to-Eye Jiu-Jitsu, Urban Tactical Street Self-Defense, and Streetology. Please join our Facebook group by typing in docradio.net and follow us on Twitter by typing docradio.net. Thank you for your support, and in the words of Doc, eye to eye, heart to heart, to the wall and back, os.
Very good.
Welcome to the Fukan Shabbat Show. Tonight, I was going to have a special guest, Shihan Salahaldin. Let me see if I could call him.
Hello?
Oh, Shihan, you're on the Fukan Shabbat Show.
Oh, good. I was just getting ready to call in.
What's going on, man?
Oh, hey, what's going on, man? Just getting ready to call in. Right in the middle of three or four things going on right now. No problem. Let me just go to a quieter area.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Shabazz. Go ahead. I'm here.
Yeah. So, we just, man, it's been let me ask you, how many shows have you done so far? We did like over 50 shows. We did a lot of shows.
Yeah, I think altogether with the On the Mat series, I'm close to maybe 45, somewhere between 45 and 50.
You can't take a man and tell him he must be rigid when
I
he
guess
flows,
it's kicking in. Let me wait for this to
like
go.
a stream.
I had never seen jiu-jitsu done. And to see this huge person just flying through the air and rolling out, not making a sound. It was very beautiful, very frightening.
He's big and he's fast and he's knowledgeable and he's a gentleman. And he's an exceptional man.
My type of rollouts are not like you might take it. Like it just looks beautiful, but it's a very dangerous thing because if I can attack with those, then it's something else, you know. And most people just look at it and say, it's unbelievable. They don't even see the point because whoever blocked the rollout?
Welcome to Full Country Bash Show. We got a special guest, Shihan. Also, check his show out, Get Off First, brought to you by the Sinjo Kai Ward Within. So, Shihan, let me ask you, Dr. Powell, like when you heard that right now, like when he said, who would have ever thought you could block a rollout? Like what does that mean when he says that?
Well, rollouts and stuff, things like that we use as fighting and snooker. You know what I'm saying? Doc uses rollouts not only just for getting out of the way in movement and things like that, but for actual combat. So I think what one of the signature things with snookers that no one else does is that we are I think the first system that uses rollouts as actual weapons. Some things that you can use in live combat. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, a rollout is something you never see coming. And I even believe if you even watching some of the UFC events, and I see guys moving things like that, and I see an instance where I think a rollout, if a guy did a rollout with what we call a rolling axe kick, if he did a rollout and landed that kick inside, it would be over. You never see it coming. It's unblockable.
Right. Yeah. So let me ask you. All right. So for the shows let me ask you. So since we've done all these shows, what have you noticed about the Snooker's Roof family? Like what has opened up in your mind? Has anything opened up?
Yeah, within the family and all the branches of the family, I think dialogue, which wasn't there before. You'd be surprised how many people from 74, 554, never having spoken to each other since 554, or actually seen each other but haven't really spoken any words outside of, hello or something. So I think dialogue and people are talking together. And the thing about the shows is that one thing I like about the show is that even what I call the sister systems of Snookus, like Kuroshido and Akiyama-Ru and things like that, people find themselves having dialogue, Right. So that's a good thing about the show, both the Fukan Shabazz show and the Get Off First show, is that at least people have dialogue, and they haven't had dialogue for the longest time. And the thing that's good about the show, about both of these shows, is that I think this is the first time people have ever had a chance to talk to each other on a national stage, without something going on from, I heard this guy say that, I heard that guy say that. They get on a national stage and they can say what they need to say, And once let me close this window here. Once you put it out there, once you say it, people, they know where they stand with each other. So I think that's, if to bring it down to one word, the best thing that's happened so far from the shows is dialogue. Period.
Right. Hey, let me ask you, if you had to take the Get Off First show, okay, so like I say, if you got Fox News, you got MSNBC, you got CNN, you got ABC, whatever, which one of those networks would you say your show is like? Or which one of those networks would you say the spirit of your show is trying to be like, and why would you say that? Well,
let me see. I think I kind of like CNN's approach because I think Fox has a certain agenda, and I think CNNBC and those stations have certain agenda. I think CNN's probably the one that's kind of like, they're going to report it even if it's bad for them. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of going to report it even if it's not what they kind of want to hear. One of the things I try to do is, especially within the Get Off First show, hey, some things are not going to be good. I'm a member of the USFA. I let people know that, Some things and people I'm going to interview don't have big disagreements with the USFA. But and I'm gonna try to let them put it out there. So I don't know which one that specifically the Get Off First show. I don't know which one most people would classify it as, but I try to keep it myself as like CNN or maybe an ABC, something like that that doesn't have a liberal or conservative, if you can use those words, slant. I kind of like the word you used before, and I got to give you credit. You coined this. There was what you call those? I forget. Excuse me. When you call those guys, you said there were two types of movement. The people there was the traditionalists and the modernists. So
the fundamentalists.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, exactly, and that's something you came up with. You coined, and it's absolutely perfect. So we try to be, I guess you can say, right in the middle. Well, there's a fundamentalist and the modernist, and I think I'm a moderate. I try to be a moderate, right in between the fundamentalists and right in a bridge between the fundamentalists and the modernists.
Well, that's good because modernism actually falls right in line with Islam. Islam is about trying to find that middle path.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me ask you this. So now with the show I do, I hate using the words like my and I because it always people always break down your language. You know what I mean? But with the show that I do, that guy on PBS, what's his name, Charlie Rose? Charlie Rose,
yeah, he's one of my favorite shows actually.
Yeah. That's the guy that I try to go after.
Yeah.
Because one thing about Charlie Rose, when you get on his show, he makes you feel like you know him all your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like when you get on his show, like you just feel comfortable, and then and when you feel comfortable, you talk.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, Charlie Rose is like I could get on his show right now, or you could get on his show right now, and he'll make you feel like he knew you all your life.
Yeah, I agree. I like Charlie Rose's interview style.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and there's no sensationalism with him, and I think I love his shows too, and I think from watching his shows, I think the truth typically comes out more the more comfortable a person feels speaking with you. You know what I'm saying?
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then. So like with your show, with the Get Off First show, I mean, so what you got coming up? Like what's some big shows you got coming up, or what can we expect?
Well, we got a few things coming up here. We got a part 2 of one of the best shows I've seen. I guess the show to kind of define it with clarity means we got a part 2 of James Sims coming, and then a show after that we have Daryl King.
I want to get Daryl. I want to get Grandmaster King. Man, you gotta put. Man, I want to interview Professor Sims too. Man, you should put in a good word, man. We should kind of trade off. Like if there's some people that I interviewed, I could pass them to your show, and you could shoot them back over to my show.
Yeah, well, I don't have no problem. I'll definitely let them in know, and they're probably listening anyway. That right. Yeah, absolutely. I think they should do interviews with you. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, because those
are my main. Those are going to be my main 2 guys. I do have a few other people that I'm working on, but I just want to take about a week off just to, you if anybody know about these shows, they take a lot of time, and a lot of preparation, and you got 3 kids and a life, and I got 2 kids, wife, and things like that. So it takes a lot of time. So anytime I can get a week just to take care of my my normal business, those days off are precious. So I try to take about a week off in between. I'm going to start taking a little bit more time away, just to try to give you more quality shows. More quality rather than quantity.
Right. So with this show that's coming up with Professor Sims, can you give me what can we expect? I mean, you said that's going to be a pretty big show. Like what can we expect from that show?
Well, James Sims, excuse me for saying James Sims, Professor James Sims. I don't know what to expect, and that's the good thing about it. I do know that he will speak his mind, and he will be clear. He'll speak his mind, he'll be clear, and he'll let everybody know positions. But one thing I like about Professor James Sims is that, and he's we can be honest, he's a controversial figure within the family, simply because, I guess, last 15 years or whatever Doc's life, maybe outside of Gina, I don't think anyone was closer to Doc than James Sims. Professor James Sims. I know exactly what I know exactly how Doc felt about Professor James Sims.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of those people that Doc classified as his son, even though he never had a physical son. But James, Abu Beta, Professor Carol Muhammad Little, these are people that he, even Anaconda, Grandmaster Anaconda, these are people that Doc clarified as his sons,
Yeah. Yeah. And now Professor Sims' student is a brother named, is it Hawaldo Muhammad, right?
Yeah, Geraldo or Geraldo. It's Geraldo, I guess.
Yeah,
Geraldo Muhammad.
He's nice.
Yeah,
he's nice,
yeah,
man. I've seen him on. Yeah, he's a beast.
Listen, I can tell you, he's phenomenal. I got to give it to you. I like this snippet.
Yeah, I've seen him on that. What's the guy's name? The big promoter. What's his name? What's this guy's name? They just did the event in New York a few months ago. Grandmaster. Talking about Grandmaster.
The promoter?
Yeah, that big promoter.
Nah, man, I'm drawing a blank.
You remember?
I know what you're talking about.
He did the event.
Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks.
If you go to YouTube and if you type in Grandmaster Aaron Banks, I think Part 2, you'll see him. So let me ask you. So Professor Sims was his primary teacher.
Yeah, Professor Sims is the primary teacher. Absolutely. He's James Sims' teacher.
He's pretty good, man. He's
pretty good.
What is his rank?
That I'm not sure of. I just know he does have a Don. I think it may be somewhere in the third or fourth range. I'm not sure, but he does have a Don.
Yeah. His flow is sweet, man. He got a real nice flow, man.
Yeah, definitely does.
So let me ask you. So with Grandmaster King, now what's that? What can we expect from that one?
Grandmaster King, another one that unpredictable, but especially because I need to prepare for him. But it's just gonna be, he's gonna stay. So he's also kind of, I don't want to say he's not controversial, but he is polarizing, if you know what I mean.
Right.
We're going to address some of the things that people have been saying, his time in Sanukas and other things that people are asking about. And we'll address some of those issues and stuff like that and tell you about his many conversations with Doc. One thing people got to remember is that Doc, the official Sanukas Rule website was run by Darryl King, period. Doc made that. Doc made this official Sanukas Rule website. Darryl King got Sanukas, I think it was, or whatever the name was. Yeah, that was Doc's website, period. So he was another close figure with Doc later on in his life, but no denying his closeness to Doc.
Now, Grandmaster King, his flow is nasty, man. He's another one, man. He has a really, really sweet flow, man. When I first saw him, that Pure Sanukas, you know what I'm saying? And then he made Pure Sanukas Part 2.
Yes, sir.
Man, but let me ask you, but how is it like you'll see his flow, and then like someone else got a different flow. So what is it about Sanukas that makes everybody have a different flow? Like how does that happen?
Well, the easiest way to say it is that everybody has a different. I don't know, just kind of like, you're not even Sanukas. When I'm a judo guy, and the years of playing judo, people do judo differently. So I just think it's more individualized, and I think Sanukas allows you to you can kind of stress more individuality than uniformity, if you know what I mean. There's a reason that like Grandmaster Noel and Grandmaster Shim don't look alike on the mat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They look different because Sanukas, Doc wasn't trying to make robots. The best way I can answer that, Doc said on many videos and many speeches and many seminars and many classes, you can't be like me. Stop trying to be like me. There's only one me. So he was telling people, you can't be Doc. If you listen to what Doc says, even on those fighting contests, he kept telling you, it's all about the individual as far as finding what the Sanukas is, It ain't just about A, B, and C. Now I'm not saying Sanukas isn't structured. We do have our core and fundamental techniques. Grandmaster Shin can speak on that more than I can, and the other people, Professor Osei and those guys. But Yeah, I think snooker is more individualized. Snooker to me, and I don't want to say, I hope I don't offend people, but snooker is kind of like Jukundo, where it wasn't really meant to be it was like Jukundo wasn't meant to be a style. It was meant to fit with whatever you're doing. You know, you kind of develop your own style. You know, matter of fact, one of the statements that was made was that Bruce Lee said that the individual is always more important than the style. So I kind of.
What do you think you mean by that?
I think the personal expression of the art. In other words, if I put you in, let's say, let me speak in Shotokan language. If I put you in Heian Godan or Heian Sandan or one of the Shotokan styles, and you go out there and you try to get in a real altercation using those techniques that were developed 500-600 years ago, whatever the arrow, the Heian Sapa is, they might be a little different. You have to use your own personal expression. Although the angles and some of the techniques might be modified and changed, you know, I think the reality is still going to be there. But you have to kind of find that reality. It's not something you can just, you know, it's not something, the Japanese have a saying, it's called satori. In Zen meditation, you know what satori means?
I've heard it before. What does it mean, though?
It means sudden insight or sudden enlightenment. So kind of what the doctor had that moment, he said he was in meditation or prayer, and the word sanukas came to him. The Japanese call that satori. So that has to happen with each individual, even within sanukas. You know, we have to, I think Bruce had this moment of satori when? Bruce had this moment of satori.
Jeet-Kune-Do.
Yeah, but guess how did it come about? Now, I'm not making this a Jeet-Kune-Do show, but he had this moment of satori when he got in a fight with a traditional stylist, and he was trying to use traditional Wing Chun, and he realized, wow, this thing took a long time to win. It took a long time to fight. This is not a real fight. And sudden insight or sudden enlightenment happened then, and Jeet-Kune-Do was born. Sanukas came from the same roots. In my opinion.
Let me ask you a question. What has been some of the feedback that you've been getting, particularly from the Sanukas bloodline, in terms of like the whole this whole movement on pushing the Triangle Alliance?
Okay, 1 second. There you go. Actually, I shouldn't say. Let me see. Well, I just think it's been misinterpreted because I've spoken to you privately, of course, and a lot of people saw it. And I'm glad you're having the show so you can kind of address it. I think some of the old timers, and when I say old timers, I don't mean it disrespectfully, but some of the seniors in Sanukas kind of saw it as maybe as a sign of not disrespect, but just kind of a sign like we don't really need the old guard because the way it was, kind of the way it was presented. Some people misinterpreted it as, well, what do you mean this new thing? And you know what happens when somebody tries to introduce a new change to something. You know how people. Number one, if somebody tries to introduce a change into something, people go crazy. Oh, you can't. They start getting. They get emotional. They just. They start going off in different angles and stuff like that, saying, this or that. So, but actually, when I heard about the plan and when I heard it, I didn't really. I think it's pretty decent getting some of the young blood together. As long as you guys are. And I know you mentioned this in private with me, and also public that you guys are going to, not moving the old heads out of power and not moving them aside, but just kind of asserting some of the younger gentlemen, some of the younger Sanukas warriors, and using the old school, if we can use that term, kind of put them at, not pedestals, but kind of remembering them, honoring them, and using them as guidance. But kind of you want to kind of open the door for the new school, so people can see that Sanukas hasn't fallen off. I don't think people. I know, and no disrespect. I know that old guard is tremendous, but I'm sorry. I think some of these new guys are just as bad. I think some of these new guys are dangerous. I think, like you said, Geraldo Muhammad, since you brought him up, I think that brother's a killer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So I don't see anything. I mean, I hear the other martial artists talking about Sanukas maybe weakening and stuff like that, but I don't see it weakening. I think these guys. I think Shihan, Chris Allen, Eric Allen, these guys. I think these guys are not that far off the 554 days and those guys, and Lumumba and those guys. Those guys were doing different fighting and doing, you know, a lot of different rules. And now, you know, we're in the rules of kind of with no rules, and we're in the game where people shoot first, you know. So I think snooker has been evolving, and I think it's just as strong, if not stronger, than it's ever been. I mean, I may you know, get a few words about that, but I honestly think that, you know, today's snooker is more practical and just as dangerous as it was 20 years ago, you know.
Well, you know that, you know, we only got 7 minutes left on this show, but to try to sum up what the Triangle Alliance was about, you know, really the vision was basically, you know, after doing all these interviews, you know, I realized that, first of all these people that we interviewed were great individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're great people, and we're all blessed to have them and living amongst us. But the greatest threat to the system was the disunity. Of course, me and you know, we both worked very hard to try to unite a lot of the old guard, and we also saw how difficult that was. Matter of fact, it became difficult to the point where it just, and I'm a very optimistic person, but even now in certain situations, it was like there was no hope. So the Triangle Alliance was basically a model community specifically for the Sanukas family, but generally for the world. I mean, just beyond martial arts. I mean, this could be a model community for any group that has conflict. And so, but the Triangle Alliance is a model community of unity through the young masters, and then the grandmasters and the senior professors and those people. They were more or less like elders, you know, that guide the wisdom of the younger generation. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and even if you look at all traditional cultures, I mean, the younger people are the future. They're the new leadership. They're the ones that, I mean, doesn't it make sense to guide the younger generation while you're living than to just drop, then to die, and then leave the young generation confused?
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree.
You know what I'm saying? Every culture does it. Every group does it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and even like if you look at our community, you know, like you ever notice like when our parents passed away, right? They loved us and everything, but a lot of times they didn't have the right resources or the right know-how. A lot of times we always start over from scratch. Like there's never nothing really left behind to build on. It's like every generation is almost as if you're starting over again. You're always starting over. So the Triangle Alliance is basically leveraging the knowledge that from those that came before us, and then correcting a lot of the stuff that came before us, which was the disunity. And that's really what it was all about. It's not a new system. It's not a new system. It's not a martial arts system. It's just a model community of unity. That's it.
Well, yeah, I agree. And I think and listen, let me speak, because I don't know Lamil Muhammad. I do know Soke Osei and Professor Osei, and he's phenomenal. You know, and that's not me saying, that's Doc saying that. And I do know Kevin Aaron, and he's another one. Technically, he's another phenomenal martial artist who I hope you get the chance to see move. He's a Sanukas warrior. So, you know, hopefully this thing, you know, it comes out in the right light. People understand what it's about, and then you know, and especially some of the younger people, you know, you guys do your thing and put it out there, and you know, keep spreading the message of Dr. Moses Powell and Sanukas root. And if you're doing that, nobody's gonna be against that. You know, who can be against spreading the message? You know, as long as you respect those elders like you're supposed to do, and you do what you have to do, then you're going to be fine. You know, so I'm glad the Triangle Alliance, you bring that up, and you need to, you know, clarify that with people. So that's not a bad idea at all.
And just to reinforce it, it's not a new system. You know what I mean? It's not a new system. It's just based on alliance of brothers, a brotherhood to strengthen the Sanukas community through unity. That's it. That's all it is.
Well,
it's nothing more. It's nothing less. And the people that actually are part of the alliance, it doesn't matter if they have their own systems or if they're just the bloodline of Sanukas, but regardless of what they have, when they come into the Triangle Alliance, we all have one thing in common, and that's, like you said, with the first interview I did, which was with you, which was to put Sanukas rule back on the top of the mountain. I think by unifying, and I think by having that type of spirit, I think that'll be the quickest and the best way to do it.
Yeah, I can see that. What do you have coming? I saw Tom Curry coming out. I think you're advertising him. Who you have? You got a few guests coming up that you already posted?
I got Tom Curry coming up in April. He's going to break down the whole curriculum, the whole book, which I got, by the way. He mailed it to me. I mean, it's a great book. It's like you know what the book is like? It's like a Cliff Notes. It's a Cliff Notes, but although it's a Cliff Notes, you know, Cliff Notes is it gets right to the point. It's in depth. I mean, you know what I mean? So we're gonna do a comparative analysis of Snooker's rule versus, let's say, a traditional jiu-jitsu style to basically see a lot of people, especially that knows nothing about Snooker. A lot of times when they see Snooker, I've heard them out their mouth say, you know, Snooker lacks depth, or it lacks this, it lacks that. So I want to be able to take Snooker, that book he wrote, and then compare it against a traditional jiu-jitsu art, and then look at it pound for pound, you know, pound for pound. And then with Grandmaster Anton Muhammad, I got him coming on Monday. He's basically going to be talking about protocol. You know, that's one of the things he wants to speak on, protocol, and I guess whatever else comes out of that, you know.
Okay. Well, I'll definitely be listening.
But Shihan, we got 1 minute 50 seconds left. I'm gonna let you close out the show, and we definitely got to do this again.
All right, no problems, Furkan Shabazz. Good show. You know, it's good that, you know, that all the junk and stuff has got cleared up, and just want to let people know I support the show, and I wish you the best, and please listen to the brother's show, support the brother's show. You know, he's definitely doing what he feels is best. So all the listeners of Get Off First, please support this brother's show. I wish him the best, man, and I want to make sure that that he continues, you know, and I know he means the best for me. I take us out in the traditional Snooker's way, simply by saying eye to eye.
Heart to heart.
All right, each one to each one, to the wall and back. Us.